Good evening. Welcome to tonight's live stream, and we are back. God, it's been so long since I've done one of these. I'll be a bit rusty tonight, guys. I need your help, honestly. It's the first live stream, Geography AQA GCSE Geography live stream of 2025. Glad you could join us. Hit us up in the chat here. Let us know who is there. Say hello. Wish us well. Are you excited for tonight's live stream? Hopefully you are. What better way than to spend your Monday night, 6 till 7, doing a bit of geography revision, ready for those examinations in the summer. So all of these live streams now, this whole series of live streams, is all catered to getting you feeling ready and comfortable for those summer examinations. With that first one on the 14th of May. 14th of May, Wednesday the 14th of May, and it's in the morning, AM. So don't book anything. Make sure you're available. It is AQA GCSE Geography physical paper on the 14th of May. Anyway, who's in the house? Come and say hello to us. What are you drinking? What are you eating? What have you got to get you through tonight's geography live stream? Let's have a little look and say hello to a few people. Hi, James. Good to see you. If the family are watching as well, wish them well and say hello to them as well. Bruno, good to see you, Bruno. Thanks for dropping in on our live stream. You are number one in the chat, so thanks for that. You can't get better than number one, Bruno. You were here first. The mod, you even turned up before the mod. Mod, come on. Where have you been, eh? If you don't know who the moderator is, it's a hidden person in year 13. There you go. There's a clue. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Mod. I really appreciate it. Lucas, yes, 11D. Lucas is in my form. Thanks for joining, Lucas. Hope you enjoyed tonight's live stream. We've seen James. Who else we've got in the chat here? Harry. Good to see you, Harry. And if your family are watching as well, thanks for joining us on tonight's live stream. Oh, and I owe you a Galaxy chocolate bar, so I'll get that sorted out for you as well. I know you wanted a Galaxy for being 100% attendance. That's brilliant. And also Alex, thank you, Alex, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Say hello to the family as well if they are there and watching. We love everybody who watches the Monday live streams. We do really appreciate it. And I hear you change your dinner times just so you can watch the geography live stream. So there you go. There's dedication for you. Absolutely fantastic. So if you've never seen one of these live streams before, what we do basically is we create some revision. It's follow along, get involved in the chat. I'll ask you some questions. And today we're going to focus on paper 1, physical geography, 14th of May, 2025, AM in the morning, 64 days to go. Oh my goodness, 64 days to go. That's not to get you worried, by the way. That's just to get you excited. Yes. I know it's a bit weird to say excited, but you should be excited for your geography exam. By then, we'll have done a lot of preparation and you should be feeling happy and comfortable, ready for your exam. So what we do, basically, we create some nice visual revision, colour, pictures, keynotes, and then you go away and you revise those and try and do some memory checks, look at them every few days, just keep going back to them, covering it up, looking at the information and see if you can remember the key stuff. So what do you need for cup of tea and case studies? If you're new, hit the subscribe button, definitely, and the notification bells. But for every live stream, you need a cup of tea or a hot drink. So let me know what you are using to get through the live stream tonight. What are you drinking? Always a cup of Yorkshire tea. And you've got to treat yourself. You know, if you're doing revision, you've got to reward yourself with good revision. So make sure you got some little snacks on standby. Let's go to my webcam here and see what we've got. Let's see what we've got here. Let's click on that one. Yeah. Tap to share. Oh, they've changed that there. Window. No, we don't want that one. We want a Chrome tab. Share. Oh, what's gone on there? Oh, we've got a new setting here, guys, since I last did it. By the way, our chat's very healthy. There's a lot of people on healthy stuff here. The moderator's having a... Oops. What's going on here? Let's kiss that. The moderator's having a glass of water, very healthy. And James is on bottled mineral water. Very, very nice, James. Very healthy. But let's get this shared here. So present, share screen. Oh, there we go. There we go, guys. There you go. Oops. Oh, you can see me tea stain. That's not good, is it? Blow my neck. Not a very professional live stream. That was sat on there, by the way. Obviously, that's not great. Anyway, I've got some chocolate fingers. Oh, look at that. A bit of shortbread there. You've got to treat yourself when you're doing revision. There needs to be some rewards. So, yeah. What are you eating? What are you drinking? We're going to get started in 1 minute, guys. So let us know in the chat what you're eating, what you're drinking. That's my goodness for today. Right, and I've just got tea stains over my paper, eh? No good, no good. Right, today, let's get ready then. We're starting in 30 seconds, guys. Has anybody got any treats on standby? No one's got any treats, no? No sweets there, no biscuits? You need something to get you through this, I tell you. Not just a cup of tea. Right. I think it's time to get started. Are you ready? So today we're going to look at paper 1, question 1, natural hazards, which is one of my favorite units. Earthquakes, volcanoes, tropical storms, climate change, and all that sort of good stuff. That's what we're going to look at today. And what I've done for you guys is I've looked for all the past papers, see what's not been on for a while, see what comes up regular. And these are the things that I think are most likely to appear on the 14th of May, 2025. So key revision here. So let's get started. Right, I'm going to switch cameras. Add to stage. There we go. How are we getting on with that? Right, let me just move that camera into position. Is that any good, guys? Hopefully it is. In fact, let me just change. Can I change the layout here? Put myself like that. That's probably a bit bigger, isn't it? That's a bit better, isn't it? I think. Right, let's get rid of the comments. I will go to questions and answers. Get involved in the Q&A as well as we go through today's live stream. So at the top of the page, we're going to go with this. Let me just move my biscuits for a second. There we go. So we're going to be looking today at paper 1, question 1 of the physical geography paper, which is natural hazards. Natural hazards. Oops, there you go. Natural hazards. This is just right at the top in the middle. There we go. Natural hazards. And the exam is the 14th of May, 2025. That is a Wednesday, and that is in the afternoon. Sorry, in the morning. Sorry, apologies. In the morning. Morning. Yeah, it's in the morning. 9 a.m. GMT time. Okay, there we go. So that's right in the middle, just to show you where we are. That's right in the middle at the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to work down this side here. I'm going to go through things that we must revise every time, and then a few other bits over here. So I bet you're excited to hear what we're going to predict this year for this paper. So there's some things, if you look at the trends, that are always on the exam. So I'm calling these must revise. In fact, you should revise everything for the topic, from your revision guides, from your Shobi. Must revise every year. These are the most common things that come up every single year in this section. So you'll need to create some revision notes. Now, we haven't got these on our current live stream, but they are on our other live stream. So check out the alternative live streams on this channel, and you'll find the videos there. So the first one is plate tectonic boundaries. Plate boundaries. You've got to know your plate boundaries. It is on nearly every single year, and that is your constructive, destructive, conservative, and they are the 3 main plate boundaries. Okay, make sure you know those. We're not going to go through those in this live stream, but yeah, they're definitely worth revising. Something else that comes up every single year is or very frequently, is the earthquake case study. Get that on your revision list, guys. And the earthquake that we studied was Haiti earthquake. And we also did L'Aquila in Italy. So Haiti was our LIC case study in the Caribbean, and L'Aquila is a HIC. If you're watching this from another school, you might have done different case studies for your earthquakes. It doesn't matter which ones you learn, really, but I'd recommend sticking to the ones that you've done with your teacher at school. So this always comes up. You've got to know your plate boundaries. You've got to know your earthquake case studies. You also have to know, this comes up very frequently, a tropical storm. A tropical storm. Again, very frequent. And our case study for that was Typhoon Haiyan. Now, I know for sure, guys, if you're watching this channel, we've done case studies on Haiti before on the actual channel, so check out the other videos. We've also done a case study video for Typhoon Haiyan, so again, watch those as well. That'll get you all set up. So these are must revise topics every single year for this section. You've got to know, oops, let's just get it zoomed in, guys. You've got to know your plate boundaries, conservative, constructive and destructive, your earthquakes and your typhoon. So I'll leave that as a little checklist for you to check off once you've completed that revision. Right, I'm just going to box that in, guys, because that's just a little checklist of things that often are on the paper here. So let's go to the things that I think are most likely to appear this summer. Okay, so the human causes of climate change is one thing I think potentially you may need to know. So what I'm talking about there is the greenhouse effect. Okay, I'm sure you've heard of the greenhouse effect, or technically known as the enhanced greenhouse effect, because humans are enhancing the process and accelerating climate change. So hit us up in the chat. You've got 30 seconds to hit us up in the chat. Anything that you can remember about the greenhouse effect. What is it? Can you name some greenhouse gases? Can you name any causes of the greenhouse effect? Hit us up in the chat. Show how much you know about the greenhouse effect. Whilst I just do a little title. Human causes of climate change. So if it comes up as a question, it will probably say something like discuss or explain the human causes of climate change. It's not been on for a few years, and climate change is so popular as a question. It's in the news. It's, you know, it's one of the biggest things that geographers talk about, isn't it? Climate change. So here we go. Human causes of climate change. Right, and what I'm going to do now is so this is my side of my page. Oh, there we go. That's the side of my page here. I'm going to use about here. Okay, so I'm going to use half, about that space there. So not a load of space. I'm going to try and squeeze it in, into this area here. Sorry, guys, I'll just get the camera sorted, and then I'll leave it where it is and focus in. Okay, so human causes of climate change is my little subheading. Right, let's check the chat. Let's see who knows about climate change. Chrissy, she's a mature student. You are always welcome. You're never too old to learn anything. I'm 43 and I'm still learning lots. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. Honestly, it's nice to have you in the house. Greenhouse gases such as CO2 are trapped by infrared radiation and sun earth in the atmosphere, and it heats up the earth. Wow, that's impressive. That's very good. I like how you mentioned carbon dioxide. That is the main greenhouse gas. We're going to have to shut this off in a second. Greenhouse gases insulate the planet. Yeah, they trap heat in the atmosphere. Absolutely. Well done, Harry. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of the comments then, and we're going to draw the greenhouse effect, or what's technically called the enhanced greenhouse effect. So let's get that word in there. The greenhouse effect has been around, thousands and millions of years, okay, the greenhouse effect keeps the globe at a habitable temperature. Without the greenhouse effect, the globe for vast areas wouldn't be habitable. It'd be too cold. So we've always had the greenhouse effect. We've always had these layer of atmospheric gases trapping heat, making the Earth habitable. The problem is humans and human activity is actually thickening that layer of greenhouse gases, enhancing the system of the greenhouse effect, causing climate change. So we call it the enhanced greenhouse effect. And this is the one that's being caused by human activity. So the enhanced greenhouse effect, there we go. So as we've already mentioned, it's to do with solar radiation. So let's get the sun on there. There we go. Again, it's revision notes, so it doesn't have to be beautifully neat, but as neat as you can. There we go. We're going to have some radiation, which I'll label up in a minute. That is going to be our waves coming in. And we're going to have some greenhouse gases in the atmosphere up here. Coat in the atmosphere. And we're going to have, I'll finish all that off in a minute. I just need to make sure I've got enough room to fit this in. So here is our Earth. Here it is. Just to make sure it looks like the Earth. We'll make it really colourful. There we go. Adding colour and pictures to your revision really helps with memory. So scientists have looked at memory triggers, and pictures, colour, diagrams, words all help with memory. So here's our Earth. Let's add up the first activity. The first activity is going to be deforestation. Okay, that's going to be our first activity. That's a tree that's been set on fire. So one way in which people clear areas of rainforest for agriculture is they will burn it. So they will burn the forest to clear it. It's the fastest way. So this one here is deforestation. I'm going to have to write quite small to get everything on. That's deforestation. And this activity is called slash and burn cultivation, which is farming. So if you get asked, well, how does deforestation cause climate change? Well, if you chop a tree down, it doesn't actually cause climate change because the CO2 is still, the carbon's still in the tree. But if you burn the tree stumps, if you burn the area of forest you've cleared, you are going to release carbon dioxide. So there we go. Or let's put up here, carbon dioxide or CO2. That is the main greenhouse gas, okay? I'd like to be able to draw the devil, but I can't. Now, CO2 is not the devil, but in terms of climate change, it is the most significant greenhouse gas, okay? And that's the one that causes the most problems. So if you're higher grades, it's important to know which greenhouse gases are having the most impact. Well, there you go, carbon dioxide. Right, let's draw a pile of rubbish, because waste or rubbish can release a greenhouse gas. So most of your black bin, this is just a pile of rubbish, guys, by the way. Most of your black bin goes to landfill, which is a hole in the ground. It then slowly kind of rots away, and that will release another greenhouse gas, which is methane. Methane. Now, the problem with methane is it's 20 times more potent than CO2. It's 20 times more effective at trapping heat. There's not as much methane in the atmosphere, but it is pretty strong. So methane, 20 times. Not to be geeky, but if you want to know the chemical symbol, it's CH4. Methane is CH4. Okay. Also with landfill, we've got a cow. This is going to be terrible, guys, but sorry. Just get a cow on top of the earth. There we go. Doesn't even look like a cow, but anyway. That also releases methane. Oh my God. Looks like the cow's next to the rubbish dump, but never mind. The cow releases methane through burps. So every time a cow burps, it will release methane into the atmosphere. Why is that a problem? Well, most of us on the planet eat meat. A lot of us like a burger and a steak, and there's a lot of cows to provide all that food. So there you go. Cows do contribute slightly to climate change. Not as much as this next one, which is industry. This is a massive contributor to the greenhouse effect. This is industry. Okay. Some chimneys here. Yeah. So a lot of our industries, let's put industry here, industry. A lot of our industries burn traditional fossil fuels. So they'll burn things like coal, oil, and natural gas, which again releases CO2 into the atmosphere, which we know is our main greenhouse gas. So that's our industry. The last one is transport. So I've got room just to squeeze a car on here. A bus, a lorry, aeroplanes. Air travel is really bad. Maybe I should have drawn an aeroplane. Maybe we should have drawn an aeroplane. But anyway, we've got transport. Transport is a big contributor to the greenhouse effect. And transport tends to release a greenhouse gas called nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide. There you go. Which is N2O. Nitrous oxide is N2O. And that is a major, again, contributor to the greenhouse effect. So these are all carbon dioxide, methane, CO2, nitrous oxide are all types of greenhouse gases. We also have CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, which make the layer of greenhouse gases. All of these greenhouse gases, the layer is getting thicker. A bit like tonight, you might put an extra duvet on or an extra blanket on your bed. That traps more heat. These greenhouse gas layers here are getting wider, trapping more heat. So these are our greenhouse gases. Okay, make sure you know the names of them. Make sure you remember the causes of how they're released. Now, what's the issue here? Let's go to the bit of science. We love science. Hey, it's Science Week, by the way. Good to do a bit of science, isn't it? Okay, so as it comes in, the solar radiation that comes in is classed as shortwave solar radiation. So my orange arrow here just underneath is going to be shortwave solar radiation, also known as ultraviolet light or UV. Yeah, so ultraviolet light, that's what comes in. That's what you wear your sun cream for, to protect yourself from all of those things. So it enters the atmosphere as shortwave solar radiation. It's reflected back, and this is what Lucas was talking about as long wave infrared radiation, which gets trapped. So this long wave infrared radiation gets trapped and it heats up the Earth. Yeah, it traps the heat. And that's where we go, get a bit more heat in the atmosphere. So our red arrow is long wave. So we're going to put reflected as long wave infrared radiation, or IR for short, infrared radiation. There you go. That's a really important bit of science, guys. That's why it gets trapped, because it changes in its wavelength. And because the wavelength changes, a lot of that infrared gets trapped in the atmosphere. And therefore, we get an increase in temperature. Okay, we're seeing increases in the temperature because of the trapped heat. There we go. Now, I wanted to add, what did I want to add? I wanted to add something else, didn't I? No, I think that's maybe it. Oh, some facts. Some facts here. So at the moment, climate change at the moment, we're projecting that by 2100, global temperature will be 3 to 4 degrees warmer. because of the greenhouse effect. So there's our fun fact. Not fun, really, because we're talking about climate change, but by 2100, we anticipate that the global climate will be 3 to 4 degrees warmer than it is today. So there you have it. But we've got some good news, because you can do something about it, which is something that also might come up in this year's exam. We can mitigate and we can adapt to climate change. So we're going to have a little look at those right now. Let's just check up on the chat, see what's been going on. Ooh, let's have a look. Enhanced by fossil fuel usage. Well done, Bruno. Yeah, absolutely. Coal, oil, and gas. Those prehistoric fuels that have formed over millions of years. We burn them. They create lots of energy, but they are huge emitters of carbon dioxide. So yeah, carbon dioxide. Yeah, well done. Carbon dioxide, methane gas. What else have we got here? Greenhouse gases insulate the planet. Year 11, yes. Nevs, you did a great job on that line. Absolutely professional. Yeah, thank you for telling me about that. Heard that they won on penalties. Get in. Well done. Any of the football team watching? Congratulations, guys. Very proud of you. I wish I could have stayed the whole time, but yeah, I was here. Ethan, good to see you, Ethan. Let's get Harry to stop the greenhouse effect. That'd be a good idea. So how do we reduce the impacts of climate change? Right, are we ready? So I've got this space down here now at the bottom. I'm going to use this space to talk about that particular question. So are we ready? Let's go there. Right, how to manage climate change. So I'm going to put in here brackets in a little title. Managing climate change. This hasn't been on as a big topic for a long time. There was a question about international agreements last year, 4 marks, but I feel you might get another question again about an area of this potentially, or you might get a bigger question saying, how do we manage climate change? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be you guys more so than me that's going to have to fix the planet. Right, there's 2 ways in which we can manage climate change. We can mitigate. We've got mitigation. Okay, mitigation. Keyword, so I'm just going to colour it in yellow. So we can mitigate climate change. That means ways to reduce emissions. So these are all different ways in which we can actually reduce the amount of greenhouse gas emissions in the first place. So mitigation is probably the best solution. Let's have less methane, CO2, nitrous oxide in the atmosphere to start with. Let's not release it into the atmosphere in the first place. So what can we do to prevent the release or the capture of carbon dioxide, methane, or any of the other greenhouse gases? How might we do this, guys? Hit us up in the chat, 30 seconds. How can you reduce the amount of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere? See what you can come up with. How to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. I'll treat myself to a bit of biscuit. No answers. Wow. How to reduce? Oh, they're coming in. Sir, you need to be patient. We've got to type these answers as well. Some good answers. 10 seconds. If you haven't already voted. Ways to mitigate climate change. Some very good answers. There are many ways here. Let's have a little look. Okay, so let's go to Harry's. Absolutely, Harry, well done. Yeah, use electric vehicles. If Elon Musk is watching this live stream, he's going to love you. because he's going to sell more electric vehicles. Absolutely, yeah. If you're using electric vehicles, in theory, as long as the electricity is not generated from fossil fuels, if it's generated from renewables, then electric vehicles are they are good for reducing emissions. Absolutely. Bruno, absolutely as well, yeah. Using electric vehicles, renewable energy. Well done, James. Solar, wind, hydroelectric power, geothermal. Any of those would really help to reduce the emissions. And this is an interesting one. Yeah, absolutely. Reduce the demand for meat. Yeah. Only eat meat once a week. Vegetarian diet, plant-based diet would all help. Absolutely. Yeah, different ways. Right. Let's have a look at the ones that the exam board would class as most common. So the first one we're going to go for is a big one. It's that shift to renewable energies. So I'll make sure I've got enough room here. Here we go. There's my wind turbine. Nothing fancy. And it is renewable energies. They are a really great solution. They do create emissions during their production when you make them and transport them to, say, for example, the hill where you build it. But after that point, they are zero emissions. And they would help to reduce climate change. So the UK, I'm just going to put there UK wind. Yeah, the UK has focused on wind energy quite significantly because, because it's a good source of energy here. We are one of the windiest countries in Europe, and we generate a lot. That's just a tiny little UK flag, renewable energy. Out of interest, actually, let's have a look at this. The energy dashboard. Let me get this up. I don't know if you've heard of the energy dashboard. Energy dashboard UK. Sorry, guys. Let me just get this up for you. This is really cool. Let me show you this. Just going to do another. Let's just stop that screen share there. Present screen share. So if you're ever interested in what's powering the UK, here it is. This is the energy dashboard. It's a daily dashboard. It updates every 10, 15 minutes. I think it's 15 minutes. So as you can see, renewables today is actually powering 39% of our energy needs, which is fantastic. And then if we look at the pie chart over here, look at that. Look at wind. Wind is generating 37.6% of all electricity at this moment in time. Incredible. You could be watching this live stream whilst wind is powering it. Hey, that's pretty impressive. But yeah, that's the energy dashboard. We're doing well. 40% renewables today, guys. So it must be windy along where the coast is on the tops of the hills. But yeah, check it out. Energy dashboard UK live. Updates every 15 minutes. Oops, let's get you back on the screen. Here we go. There we go. Click and share. Right, I think you're back on. Let me just move myself down to the bottom. Makes it a bit bigger. There you go. Okay, renewable energy. Next one. Ooh, no one mentioned this one in the chat. This is a really clever one to talk about. This is where you capture carbon dioxide, you turn it into a liquid, and then you bury it within the rocks. Yes, so here's our carbon dioxide molecules. And we turn them into a liquid, and then we bury them within the rocks. Let's just colour them in. That's in the rock layer underneath. There we go. So they get absorbed from the atmosphere on the surface of the Earth. Yeah, get absorbed from the atmosphere, turned into a liquid, and then buried as geological storage. This is called carbon capture and storage, or to you, CCS maybe, carbon capture and storage, or CCS. Let's just zoom you in a bit nearer. There you go. Where the atmospheric carbon is absorbed into the ground, into geological storage, into the ground. A country that does this very well is Norway. Norway. Sorry, bad joke. just in case there's any Norwegian visitors watching. Live streamers. We love the fact that you are world leaders in carbon capture and storage. So well done, guys. Flying the flag there. Right, there is some more mitigation strategies. Let's not forget the importance of these things. One of my favorite things on planet Earth, trees. Tree planting is a great way of reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. There we go. Plant some trees. We did that at school, actually, didn't we? Not so long ago. Maybe about 2 years ago. Tree planting. Because trees are examples of a carbon sink, which basically means they absorb more carbon than they release. So they are a carbon sink. So tree planting. And let's go to the last one, which is the one that was on the exam last year, which is kind of policy and an international agreement. So this is where governments meet. It's an international agreement where governments meet to talk about targets for climate change or agree on things like new technologies. And the most famous one was Paris, probably 2015, or COP 2015, where they agreed as a globe to keep global temperatures to a maximum of 2 degrees warming. That's what they talked about there. So that's mitigation. These are all ways in which you can prevent the release of greenhouse gases. Carbon capture, storage, renewable energy, tree planting, and international agreements. Right. If you can't capture the atmospheric greenhouse gases, the only other thing to do is try and adapt to life in a warmer climate. So our next word is adaptation. Adaptation, it's a key word. You can either mitigate climate change or you're going to have to live with it and adapt to it. It's adaptation, that one is. Adaptation is ways to reduce the impacts. So you're not actually really tackling climate change. You're just coming up with ways to reduce the impact. So it's getting a bit busy down here, isn't it? Right, we're going to try and squeeze this on. So number one over here is water conservation. Water conservation. So as you know, in a warmer world, there'll be less water. So what we could do is just try and use what water we've got a bit more conservatively, okay? And one way to do that is through something called drip irrigation. So for farmers, they have to adapt. Maybe they can't just waste water on crops here, there, and everywhere. They might have to carefully manage their water levels and use drip irrigation. Very common in places like Spain. The Spanish use a lot of drip irrigation. So if you want an example, there is one. What else can we do? We can create green space. Because believe it or not, the more parks and woodland in a city, the cooler the city will be in temperature because they absorb some of the heat and they dissipate some of the heat. So this is called urban cooling. Urban cooling. Now that is one. So there's a park. Yeah. So green spaces, if you if you allocate green space in cities, like a park or a wood, it will actually create a cooler environment in an urban city. When climate change kicks in and the temperature goes up, we need more green space in our cities to create some urban cooling. Sea level rise. Well, the only way you're going to tackle sea level rise and adapt to that is by building expensive sea defences. Because as the sea levels rise, you're going to have to build higher sea defences. So there's our sea level rising and our land. So we're going to have to build sea defences, which is a type of adaptation. If sea levels get higher, we build higher sea defences. It works. Adaptation strategies, a kind of putting a plaster on a cut doesn't really stop you from getting hurt. You're already hurt. You're just trying to make things a little bit better. So that's why geographers prefer mitigation. Last one, we can adapt our homes. So with climate change, you might do one of two things. If your home is getting very hot, even in the UK now, we're trying to get, some people have got these. We have things like air conditioning. Let's put AC up there. Yeah, on our house. So you may be posh enough. I don't know. We've got some posh people in this chat. Have you got air conditioning at home? Maybe you have. Anyway, if it gets warmer in the future, if it's 4 degrees warmer, maybe you're going to need air conditioning. The other thing we might do in our homes is collect rainwater. That people might start doing a bit of rainwater harvesting. So the water that comes off the roof, they might collect it, again, going back to this one, and use the rainwater. So you're kind of adapting to less rainwater. So I'm going to put here adapting homes. Adapting homes. Oops, sorry guys. Adapting homes such as air con and rainwater harvesting. Collecting rainwater from the roof. Rainwater harvesting. Sorry about my messy writing. Please forgive me. Right. Okay. Let's have a quick look at that section there. Ooh, that looks impressive, doesn't it? That. Okay. I want to do 3 more things. Yeah, 4 more things, but one's a little one. Okay, we're going to go to this top right-hand corner up here. Top right, I've got a tiny little space up here where we're going to talk about something up here. So I'm just going to cut it off up here. It's only a tiny section. And I'm going to call this plate tectonic theory, or why tectonic plates move. Okay, why tectonic plates move. So this has never been on the exam as a separate question. They've talked about it under plate boundaries, but it's never been on a separate, and I don't know why. So that's why I'm thinking potentially 2025. Why do tectonic plates move? Hit us up in the chat, guys. What causes our tectonic plates to move? You've got 30 seconds. What causes a tectonic plate to move? Oh my God, we've got a legend in the house, guys. Raghav, yes. Year 14 now. Raghav was one of my greatest ever geographers, top guy. And he's at university now. He's studying for his degree in accountancy and business management, something like that. Anyway, awesome geographer, got an A grade, and he's dropped in. He's dropped in to watch the live stream. That's how much he loves geography. He's still enjoying the live stream. Top man. I hope the course is going well for you at uni. And keep in touch, Raghav. Okay. Plates. Okay. 10 seconds left, guys, and then we'll go to the answer on this one. Ooh, Harry. Very good. Very good. There's 3 ways there is. Oh, I can't make a cup of tea. Right, let's see what people have got in the chat then. What causes tectonic plates to move? We've got here. Lucas is saying tectonic plates flow on the mantle, correct? And then moved by something called convection currents. That is number 1. Never forget, convection currents are flows of molten rock in the mantle that causes the tectonic plates to move. The plates are like a boat on a river. The water underneath moves. In this case, the magma moves, and then the plates float on top. Convection currents, absolutely awesome. Harry's also got convection currents, but he's showing off here. Woo! Slab pull and ridge push, which are the modern theories about why plates move. And that is absolutely awesome, Harry. Very impressed. So let's get those 3. They're the 3 that we need to put down. So we've got our tectonic plates. Here we go. Let's just draw some plates up here. 2 plates. There we go. One's going that way, one's going that way. There we go. And we need to, put some convection currents. So we have magma that rises upwards, it heats, it cools, it condenses, and sinks. So if you've ever seen a lava lamp, you lot are too young for lava lamps, aren't you? If there's anybody who's old in the audience, you'll know what a lava lamp is, don't you? I'm sure. They're really big in like the 70s. Anyway, I digress. Basically, convection currents are these flows of magma, these flows of molten rock. Let me just colour my plates in here. Yeah, these flows of molten rock here, and they're called convection currents. Convection currents. Molten rock heats up, it rises, it warms, it cools when it gets towards the crust, and then sinks, and then it goes round in this conveyor belt action. So convection currents, there you go. Let me just zoom in a bit nearer, there you go, so you can properly see the work here. So convection currents, good. Number 2 and 3, we'll try and do these on the same diagram. Okay, there's my plate. It's been pushed apart. Magma's rising. Oh, there's my, oops, oh God, just slipped off that. Sorry, guys. There's my other plate here. So at a constructive boundary, magma rises up through the gap. There we go. Yeah, and that will force the plates apart. So this is, just get a bit of, it looks like magma there. There we go. So as that magma rises up through the plates, this happens at a constructive margin where the plates move apart. Constructive, where plates move apart. Yeah, we get here ridge push. This is called ridge push, because that magma pushes through the gap and it separates the plates. So that causes the plates to move, ridge push. Here, where the plate, let's just colour the plates in here again on the crust. Here, where the plate is dipping down, because of gravity, where gravity is pulling the plate down, yeah, we get something called slab pull. Yeah, and that plate is pulling the rest of the plate down, and this happens at a destructive boundary. So slab pull happens there. So you might get a question about how plates move or plate tectonic theory, something like that. And these are the mechanisms of movement: convection currents, ridge push, slab pull, where the plate gets pulled down back into the mantle as well. Okay, let's have a look at our next section. Hopefully you've got that bit there. Just going to zoom out a little bit here. Here we go. We've got some big space here to fill now, which is good, because that's what we're going to do next. We're going to have a look at this next question, which might be something along the lines of, what factors affect the impact of an earthquake? Okay, so here's up in the chat. You've got 30 seconds. What factors affect the impacts of an earthquake or a volcanic eruption? What factors will affect an earthquake or a volcanic eruption? There's the question to be answered. So here we go. Let's get the question down. Factors that affect the impact of earthquakes or volcanoes. So why might one earthquake kill more people than another, or why might one volcano, when it erupts, kill more people than another? So what factors affect the impacts, like the cost of damage, the impact on the environment, the impact on people, lives, property and buildings. What would be a factor there, do you think? Okay. So 10 seconds left. Oh dear, my laptop battery's going in 20 minutes, is it? Oh, good. Oh, we best speed up, guys, here, I tell you. Right, that's good news for you. Oh, some good answers. Let's have a look. Factors that affect the impact of an earthquake could be as follows. Yeah, location. Well done. Proximity to the boundary. Well done. Distance from the earthquake. Definitely that's one that's going to be on there. Wealth of the country. Well done, Bruno. Yeah, whether it's a HIC or an LIC, absolutely. And then linked to that, how prepared the government are. So let's go. The first one is up here. This is going to be the development stage of the country. A country that is a HIC is likely to cope with a disaster more effectively than an LIC. And we'll have a little chat about that as well and why that might is. So number one is the development stage. Whether it is a HIC, a NE, newly emerging economy, or an LIC. Yeah, that will play a big part in whether the country has significant impacts or not. And that's largely because in HICs, the government has more money to invest. And we're going to talk about some of the things they might invest in. So the amount of government investment. Yeah. So if you're HIC, your government might invest more in emergency services, in preparing buildings, all sorts of things like that, which we're going to have a little look at as well in our second section. Okay, right. The next one might be population density. So does the earthquake or volcanic eruption occur in a urban area where there's lots of people living, like a city or a town, where therefore you're going to expect a lot of damage and possibly death? Or does your earthquake and volcano occur in a rural area where you would expect lower death toll and less impact? So, for example, in Haiti, it happened in the capital, Port-au-Prince, urban area, densely populated, large slum areas, and that led to high impacts, with 80% of the city being damaged. So if it's rural or urban, that would be a significant factor. Let's go on to the next one. Building design or regulations. If your country has very strict building regulations, like Japan, in fact, let's get the Japanese flag on there. There you go. Japan are world leaders in mitigation of earthquakes, preparing beforehand to reduce the impacts. Yeah, but building regulations is an important one. This is the issue with Turkey. They fail to enforce strict building regulations. Same with Haiti. Same with a lot of the LICs and the NE countries. This is where they fall short. It is expensive to build aseismically, i.e. buildings that don't fall in an earthquake or get damaged easily, but it is a massive factor, aseismic buildings. We're also going to go with Japan, and it's things like disaster day. So if you are training or prepared, so things like disaster day in Japan, yeah, that means you're going to be more prepared. They would have earthquake drills. They would have the emergency services practicing on that particular day. That would reduce the death toll. And yeah, so disaster day, trained emergency services. So like drills, trained emergency services. That could include actually a disaster plan. A disaster plan. Yeah. So countries with disaster plans for earthquakes or volcanoes usually see less impact of those. The last one is a big one. How well the country deals with its 3 Ps. Ooh. Who can remember the 3 Ps? That's a question. Who can remember the 3 Ps of hazard management? These could be on the 3 Ps. What have we got? Ooh. Ooh. One of those is wrong, Harry. You're almost there, though. What have we got here? Predict, prepare, protect. That is the correct answer. Oh, Harry's beat you to it there, Bruno. It is prediction. How well a country predicts using technologies. So we've got prediction. We've got preparing, earthquake survival kits, all that sort of good stuff. And then protection. Okay. So how well a country deals with the 3 Ps would ultimately influence how well that country is dealing with the hazard and how well it's impacted. In Haiti, they relied heavily on international aid. That was delayed. When you rely on other countries, that will slow down your recovery and increase the impact of the hazard. So you might get asked what factors impact a earthquake or a volcano, the impacts of it. These are all factors that might. Right, let's go to the big one. I think you might be asked about how do we manage earthquakes and volcanoes. So for this one, we're going to draw a table. But before we do, I'm going to put here management of earthquakes. This is our last main section, earthquakes and volcanoes. So what technologies can we use to predict and protect against earthquakes and volcanoes? And for this one, guys, I am going to draw a little table, which I don't normally do. But hey, it's Monday night in March. Let's draw a table, eh? That'll be exciting. Who doesn't like a table? So we're going to draw a table here. It's going to... Oh dear. Done that a bit too low there. Anyway, we'll come across here. There we go. It's going to have 2 columns. And in this table, it's going to say management of earthquakes and management of volcanoes. Okay. Now, I know loads of you will be frantically running around the house now to try and find a ruler. If not, do a little wavy line. Management of earthquakes. So we're going to talk about that first, what we can do to reduce the death toll, injury and damage caused by earthquakes. And then we're going to do management of volcanoes. Good. Right. Let's get straight into this because yeah, I've got 40% battery left. Oh dear. Okay. How do we manage earthquakes? I'd ask you in the chat. Oh, someone else is actually. Oh, there we go. Bruno says use seismographs or seismometers. Absolutely. That is one way to manage earthquakes and volcanoes. So we'll put that in there. I'm going to save that one for the volcanoes. Right. Okay. Here we go. First one for earthquakes. We could build aseismic buildings. Here we go. So an example of an aseismic or an earthquake resistant building is the Trans-America Pyramid. Trans-America Pyramid. That's in San Francisco. And it's triangular shape. Maybe that helps, obviously, with its stability. It's got a very wide base. So Trans-America Pyramid. So let's have a look at some of the features of this building. So first of all, at the base, yeah, at the bottom, zoom in a bit so you can see. There you go. We'll just do this one here. So at the base, we've got something called base isolators. Base isolators, which is like shock absorbers. They absorb the energy of the vibrations, the seismic waves, and they prevent damage to the building. So the waves, as they travel through the rocks, are absorbed by the base of the building, and yeah, they protect the building. We also have in here, we have seismometers, which you know what Bruno's mentioned, seismometers. And if they detect an earthquake, they will shut off the gas and water in the building, prevent leaks, floods, and fires, because obviously those pipes will get broken in the earthquake, and we don't want that. They have a flexible steel frame. Don't know how we're going to show that, but they tend to have like this steel frame on the outside. So a flexible steel frame. Okay, so the building just kind of sways. Don't know if I should do that on camera, but anyway, the building kind of sways and moves with the seismic motion rather than being rigid and collapsing and crumbling. Also, on the outside of the building, there tends to be a lot of green space. There you go. So we have a lot of green space called open areas for evacuation. Probably be a bit like your school. If there's a fire drill, you go to an open area away from buildings where it's safe to evacuate. So there you go. These are really great ways to protect people in earthquakes. Speaking of protection, one of the best things you can do in an earthquake, if you're on holiday or you're traveling, is this little strategy. This looks very weird. That is somebody under a table. So if ever you're in an earthquake, guys, and you can make it under a solid object, a table, a desk, something like that, that's probably the best way to survive if you're inside a building. So we can have earthquake drills. Earthquake drills, already mentioned those actually. Earthquake drills. And this is the advice. It is to drop to the floor, cover your head with something solid, and hold on tight to the object. Yeah, drop, cover, and hold is a really good one. Okay, other things you could do to predict. Predicting is really hard, but you can actually measure gas levels. So at plate boundaries, I reckon not many of you probably know these ones, but at plate boundaries, you can measure a gas, and you can measure radon gas levels. And what we've found is that when the plate boundaries are releasing radon gas in high concentrations, it often means that there's potential for an earthquake imminent. We can look also at animal behavior, in particular dogs. Is that a dog? I don't think it is. Looks like a pig. Animal behavior. Yeah, for some reason, it seems like there is something in this. Dogs seem to be able to detect, only a few seconds beforehand, but detect earthquake activity. And last but not least, you can also monitor plate boundary movement. So you can look at plate boundaries and see how they're moving. So you can use GPS, which is on your phone. It's used for sat nav. Your phone knows where you are, basically. If you were to put your phone or a GPS device on a tectonic plate and then monitor that over years, tens of years, you'd see it move. And if you know what direction the plates are moving in, that might give you an indication of when it's happening. Also, apart from GPS, you can also look at the earthquake regularity. So when was the last one? Well, they might be, there's my little graph. We can look at regularity. So some places have them maybe every 30 years. Yeah. Oh, we tend to have earthquakes here every 30 years. Well, we haven't had one for the last, I don't know, 29 years. So there might be one in the next year or two to come. Okay. We're not very good at predicting earthquakes. It's something that scientists are still trying to master. So that's why in earthquakes, we tend to focus on protection and preparing with our earthquake kits, our drop cover hold, and our buildings. The buildings is the main one when it comes to earthquake survival. Right, let's go to volcanoes. What can we do in volcanic areas like Iceland? Iceland are very good at this, actually, protecting against volcanoes. So going to one that Bruno's mentioned, shout out for that one. It is a seismograph, because often earthquakes and volcanoes are in similar locations. So a seismograph is basically a pendulum with a pen on it. And when the earth shakes, it vibrates the recording pen on the graph, and it detects the seismic waves. So a seismometer draws a seismograph. It draws a graph to measure. It measures seismic movement. And when a volcano is about to erupt, there's that much pressure inside the volcano. It's like a bottle of pop ready to explode. The volcano will move. It'll seismically move under the pressure, and then the seismometer picks those up. What else can we do? We can also look at something called a tilt meter, which is a little, it's like a spirit level that you put on the side of your volcano. And it's measuring, as it says, the tilt of the volcano, the angle at which the volcano flanks or sides are at. So this is our tilt meter. It's measuring the angle of the tilt of the volcano. So these are usually, again, GPS signals. So like a little device that you put on the edge. And it monitors changes in the shape of the volcano. So usually if a volcano is about to erupt, the pressure of the eruption means it changes shape, and a tilt meter will detect changes in the shape of a volcano. And if the volcano changes shape, you need to evacuate. There's problems. Okay, the next one is another gas. A lot of these hazards release gas, and volcanoes release something called sulfur gas. So you can measure sulfur gas levels. If you've ever been near a volcano, it smells a bit like rotten egg. And yeah, that is one that you can keep an eye on. Helps to predict. Right, we've got two more. If your volcano is near a lake or a pond, that could be very useful. So if your volcano is near a lake or pond or surface water, what you might find is that water actually heats up because of the molten rock underneath it. Put a little bit of magma underneath that pond. So what we can do is we can measure the surface, the water temperatures actually. There's my little thermometer. I need to get better at drawing thermometers. There's my little thermometer. And it measures, we can measure surface water temperatures. Surface water temperatures. And if the water near the volcano on the surface is getting warmer, that's probably an indication that the volcano is close to erupting. So yeah, that's another one. Right, this last one comes all the way from Iceland, and I don't know if you've ever seen these. Maybe we can get a picture up in a minute. But where there is a town, here's some houses. Where there is a town, what they do in volcanic areas is they will create these channels to divert lava away from the town. So here's our little town, our little Icelandic town. Yeah, there we go. And these channels, these concrete man-made channels here, are where you divert the lava from. So these are called lava diversion channels. Lava diversion channels. Thanks for everybody in the chat who's saying hello as well, guys. I'll come to you in a moment. I will come to you guys, I promise. Lava diversion channels, and they're made of concrete. These have been used a lot in Iceland. Iceland use lava diversion channels quite successfully as well to divert lava away from towns where it can be hazardous. Let me just see if I can find a picture of a lava diversion channel. Here we go. Let me just do a quick search. Lava, just to show that these things. Lava diversion channels. Here we go. Let's get the picture up. It's always good to see them. They're usually made of concrete. Here we go. This is probably the best one. Oops. Oh dear. Sorry guys, just hit my microphone there. Sorry, my camera. Right, let's get this on. Here we go. Let's just get rid of that one for a second. Present. Stop screen share. Present. Screen share and lava diversion channels. There you go. So there you go. That's what they look like. They're normally made of concrete. This one looks like it's made of natural. It looks like it's been carved out of the landscape, this one. But yeah, the lava drops into these, and then you can take it away from areas of high risk, like towns, cities, and things like that, and divert it away from, civilization, basically. Really great. And they use them in Iceland as a way of protecting people. So there we go. Lava diversion channels. Right, let's get you back on here. There we go. Present. Right, we're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there. I've got a tiny bit at the bottom here. There's a tiny bit of space here. Let me just zoom out a tiny bit. There you go. The other thing that I think might come up, the only other thing I think that's not been on for a while that could potentially come up is a UK extreme weather event. UK extreme weather event. Okay. And the one that we did at our school was the Somerset Levels floods. Okay, so our UK extreme weather event, and it was the Somerset floods of 2013/14, because it went into this. It was like December 2013 and then January 2014, so it's kind of went across a couple of years. Okay, to find out more about that one, I would strongly recommend that you go to our YouTube channel. Obviously, you're already on it, guys, because it's Cup of Tea and Case Studies. You love it. And there's our YouTube logo. And I'm going to put here, check out, because I can't fit it all in here, check out the live stream on the Somerset Levels. Somerset floods. Okay, smiley face. So check that live stream out. I think you might get a question about UK extreme weather. It could be 4 marks, it could be 6 marks, it could even be the 9 marker. Who knows? It's not been on for a couple of years. It's due to make an appearance. Just know what happened. It was one of the worst flood events in the last 20 years, and that's the one that's also on our channel. So shamelessly, guys, I'm going to plug the channel and go check out the other video. But there you go. Let me just try and get it all in one shot. If you've done all your revision notes like Maya there, bring them, show me a picture, bring them to lesson. I will give you a positive point as well if you've managed to get all your revision notes. But there you go. Look at that. Well proud. Great revision for natural hazards in the 14th of May. Things that are always going to come up. These are things that haven't been on for a while. And check out that one there, the Somerset Levels flooding. Right, I'm going to catch up with the chat just for 1 minute to see what we got in terms of comments. hit that like button. If you haven't hit the like button, come on, guys, hit that like button and show your appreciation for the channel. Subscribe, share with other like-minded geographers. And we'll be back next week. We're definitely back next week with question 2, living world, rainforests and hot deserts. Again, things that you should revise and things that are potentially going to be more likely to appear in 2025. Right, let's catch up with the chat. Caleb, good to see you, Caleb. Hope you're well, mate. How's college treating you? Hopefully you're doing well. We do miss you at Abbott Bain, but thank you for dropping in on the live stream. Sir, I notice they smell like me. If you don't notice me, you smell like a volcano. All right, okay. Thanks for that. Hopefully I don't, because volcanoes smell of rotten egg. Emily, how are you, Emily? Thanks for dropping in. Hey, thanks, appreciate that. Hopefully you're doing well. And how's college? You're in second year of college, I think, aren't you? I do miss you having you in my form. I liked all the sweets that you used to bring for me. Thank you very much. That is very cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Harry, thank you so much for joining us and dropping in. Really appreciate that. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us for revision. Be here 6 p.m. GMT time next Monday for Living World revision. Thank you very much, guys. All the best. Bye-bye for now. See you later. Why is it not going anywhere? Right, okay. All right, guys. See you later. Bye-bye. End stream. End stream. Yes.